So good morning. How is everybody? Welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Typical morning routine. Indoor work, showers, chores, and the homestead. So we're recovering from all this massive rain we've had in the past several days. It's starting to really dry out. Come here, y'all. Come on. Come on. Let's get you out of the mud. And they're coming. Good job, guys. Good job. So I wanted to talk to you real quick about my homeschool routine because I get a lot of questions about it. Most videos you see by people, moms and dads, they're sitting at a table showing you a schedule. I don't do that. I think I've done it enough to where I'm comfortable with what I know is working for my family. And you're gonna get there too. For you moms out there that are already doing it, you're like, yep, I know. I have a certain routine with my kids. The first thing that's very important to me with our homeschool journey is that they get up and they work. Chores, feed the dog, take this upstairs, open the gate, feed the chickens. Now this is not traditional for everybody, but I do think that your children need to have a sense of work ethic outside of doing school. So I'm going to speak to that, okay? So this is what I do, what we do in terms of our schedule, what we do in terms of our routine, some of our curriculum ideas and different things like that. It's worked very well for us. We moved here 4 years ago. We were urban homesteading before we actually took on this entire lifestyle up here. So I was already conditioning them to that. Now, there's different styles of homeschooling. You do what works best for you, your family, your time, your job, your children in terms of what they're good at, what they're interested in. I'm only speaking to what I do. And because so many people have asked me to talk about this subject, we're going to talk about it. What I can tell you, and I've spoken about this before, is the first thing you're going to find out on this journey is number one, you do need to commit to time. Time is a major effort for many of us, especially in the farm world, because there's so many distractions. We've learned just by trial and error up here that we know when we get really hit really hard during the school year. Now, some people like to start in July, some people like to start in September, and then they work their 180 days or whatever you have for your state and whatnot. However, you have to work it, okay? We traditionally like to start in August. We traditionally like to end by Memorial Day. We come from the public school system, so we're already conditioned to that type of routine. And overall, it works pretty well for what we like to do in terms of our farm, if we ever have a vacation ever again in our life, things of that sort. Plus, my kids like a summer break. But I can tell you that summertime to start, meaning August and even into September, is tricky nowadays because a lot of our harvest time, really big harvest and canning time, is now August, September, early October. Gets really crazy. Plus you have a lot of festivals that come around, the fair comes around and whatnot. So what I have learned is that I must start in August. I am kick-starting the school year August 1st, or the first week of August, I should say. Now, we may not homeschool every single day. We may only do 2 days or 3 days. But what that does is it forces us to evaluate, do we have everything that we need for that school year? We have gotten to the point where we're pretty good at using curriculum that's already kind of preset on a weekly schedule. I don't write everything down every day. I did that the first year or two, and when they were younger, that worked really, really well. My kids are pretty disciplined with knowing what they have to do. I will tell you that what I do is I say, okay, you guys know how much we have to do. The book is generically set already for basically a Monday through Friday type of routine. I don't care necessarily if we don't get it done by Friday, but it has to be done by Sunday night, so that when Monday morning kicks around, we start a fresh week. Now, some people like that, some people are loose on that. I'm not. I try to really, unless we have something catastrophic happen, unless we're very, very sick, you know, then you pick and choose your leniencies of what you pass on by or what you go ahead and test on or what you make them go back on or whatever. You have to figure out what is critical. Sometimes a lot of the schoolwork that we get, even in the homeschool work, can be a little bit of minutia. Okay, I'm not going to drill my kid 20 times on multiplication tables when he got it on. Why go 20 times when I know he nailed it again times 7, 8, 9. So that's the beauty of it, is you get to work with what are their strong suits. So you don't pound them on that so much. If they got it, they got it. And you have to kind of make sure they're still getting it. You know what I'm saying? You have to kind of revisit. Did you understand 4 times 5 is 20? You know, and come back again. What's 4 times 5? You know, you'll figure that out. But that allows me more time to work on other things that are not their strong suit. So if one kid just blows English out of the water and he gets it done in 20 minutes and he's done his reading and he's an excellent writer, but maybe he needs more work in algebra. That allows you that flexibility in your time and your schedule, and we really focus on that. All of them have that. You have that. I have that. I always needed more help in math. Upper level math. It's not that I couldn't do it, but it was a train of thought that I just was, because it was not tangible. I'm a very hands-on person. I love biology. I was very good in history because I can imagine it, I can see it, I can see pictures, I can feel it, I can go there and see it. You know, you put me in pre-calculus, Patara needs a little bit of help. My husband is the opposite. So both parents also in this scenario work together. My husband is excellent in math, high-level math, and I'm very blessed to have that. And so a lot of evenings he's working with a lot of that. But the goal as far as our schedule is we don't take a lot of breaks. We do kind of go along the school year as far as, I'm in the shade down here. Everybody's eating. Mom's having a break. Homeschool break, homeschool break. My children are working, the hummingbirds are flying, and everybody's eating. But when we go inside right now, we'll bring down several times a week. I will say, bring me your school books, and I will sit and I will look. Every day, every other day, every third day, I make sure I'm looking at everything and making sure that we are on par. Even my oldest child, who's a senior in high school this year, we're working with scholarships, everything right now. He's done so well. We've done so well with this. We're so proud. We've gotten into a really good groove the past couple of years, and it's worked for us. But we still have to, what did you do today? Let me see it. Did you finish this? Okay, I need to grade that. Did you grade that? Depending on the subject, I've even given my children their own level of flexibility in terms of grading their work, because they know at the end of the week they have to take a test. Now, some children, depending on the subject, I will give an open book test. When we've hit high school and we have a lot of advanced reading, I have allowed my older children to take open book tests, particularly in their harder subjects. What I have learned is that you have to minimize anxiety. That's why we homeschool. To minimize anxiety, to minimize test anxiety. I make them take all the major tests. I don't worry about all the little quizzes and here and there. It just depends on the kid and the subject. I know this is generic, but you're going to figure this groove out for yourself. If they read the material and I'm going through it with them and they can talk about it and they can answer questions and we can have conversation about it, and yet we still need to pound out algebra, I'm not going to make my kid take an entire hour out of his day to take a test over something that I'm very confident that he understood, when he does not understand his science or he does not understand his algebra. That allows us to relax one side and to focus positively on another, building confidence there. Confidence for a lot of these kids is a lot of the reason why we have to homeschool. They get more valuable time in the areas they need help. And if you can allow that to happen, they're enjoying their schoolwork more. I want my kids to enjoy history. I want my kids to enjoy literature. I want them to understand how to write, and I want them to understand grammar and concepts. Yes, I'm not taking away from that, but I don't want them to stress about that. There's enough stress already. Does that make sense? So we focus on a weekly schedule. If we don't get something done by Thursday into Friday, then guess what's happening Saturday morning or Sunday night? I want my kids to understand the value of homework. You're not escaping that. I understand that I hear a lot of people say third graders shouldn't be doing homework. Well, maybe not. But I think by the time they reach the level of middle school and high school, I think some homework is good. I'm old school, because the reality is if they go to a technical school, if they try to go and go to college of any sort, a community college, go into anything like that, guys, they're going to have homework. You're not doing them any favors. So it's better to slowly condition them to that idea. So I value that. I do value tests, like I told you, but depending on the subject and how it's working, I do allow some open book testing. Now, I do not on math, but say biology, if it's a lot of reading and a lot of different mapping, or advanced, like right now we're doing advanced biology, physiology and anatomy. I don't mind if it's open book at this point. I want him to enjoy it. I want him to see it. I want him to understand the concepts. I want him to be able to get through the majority of the book, as opposed to him sitting there feeling like he has to memorize things that you and I know in 6 months he may not remember. Catch me? So that is my focus. A lot of reading. If we do a lot of reading, I try to make it more historical reading. I've kind of gotten away from all of the politics and all of the world events. We talk enough about that. We live enough world event here all the time. I will tell you that I enjoy Saxon math. You need to do what works best for you. There's all kinds of different wonderful curriculums that you can work with. Appalachia science for all of my children has been wonderful, and I've been able to pass that down. Good morning. Say hello to everybody. We work a lot with animal science. It's very applicable here on multiple levels. I'm going to get hay. We also work, rod and staff is very affordable for a lot of people, and that has been good in the lower levels, elementary school in particular. And plus, you know, we work with them on that. So that's been very, very good as well. What else is good? Appalachia, Saxon math. We did Math UC if you're starting out and you have a child that needs more advanced hands-on learning in terms of math. Math UC was very good, but again, we switched over to Saxon. That's what I love. Bob Jones offers some very good curriculum. I would highly encourage you to look into trying to get that used. While y'all do a good job, man, are you expensive. Can we talk about that? Amen. So it just depends. Your local library has a lot of great sources, and I'm going to tell you right now. Thank you. Is it good? I love you too. You're so sweet. Field trips. Take your kids on field trips. Historical sites, festivals. As much hands-on material as you can get. We did do a co-op for a couple of years. It allowed us to meet some good people. It allowed us to have more structure. It did allow us to do all of these things, but living rural as we do, most people, even in a rural setting, did not or do not farm like we do. So it was difficult for on the schedule and for certain things. To participate, because the expectation was that I teach, and I did. I enjoyed it. I taught gemology, Tennessee history, cursive handwriting, and that worked very well for us. But at the same time, I don't think that you need to feel obligated to those. I certainly don't think that you need to be constricted by the politics that do exist even with homeschool co-ops. I'm going to tell you the truth, people. But you have to do what works best for you, but it does allow for a lot of other social events, a prom and parties and skate nights and different things like that. Field trips. So do what works best for you there. I hope this video finds you well. I hope it helps you out. No, we're not sitting down just yet. Are you ready? Cuckoo la shake, cuckoo. You ready? I know it. Get excited.